power is a quiet current. It hums beneath words, behind eyes in every choice we make. Machiavelli saw the shadow that trails every throne, the way ambition can twist the purest heart, the way power's promise can erode the soul. Tonight we sit with that dark insight, not to condemn power, but to understand its price. Because in every kingdom, there's a whisper of corruption, a reminder that what we hold can also hold us. And in that gentle reckoning, perhaps we find the strength to wield power rather than let it wield us. In the hushed embrace of twilight, when the world drifts into shadows, we embark on a journey through the delicate dance between power and the soul. It is here, amidst the whispering promises of authority, that we encounter the allure of control, the gentle siren call that beckons with visions of safety and prestige. These promises, like tender threads, weave themselves into dreams, suggesting a world where chaos is tamed and vulnerability shielded. Power begins with a soft whisper, the kind that stirs the heart with its promise of moulding the chaos around us. This whisper grows, a gentle murmur embracing the imagination, painting pictures of order and steadfastness. In this quiet contemplation, the allure of power entwines itself with aspirations, offering a refuge from life's uncertainties, a canvas upon which desires are painted. Yet, as one draws closer to this enticing beacon, the nature of the whisper changes. It transforms into a siren song, pulling one subtly toward compromise, away from shores of true intent. This is where the soul's intricate choreography with power begins, a dance where intentions blur under the beguiling promise of authority, straddling the line between genuine ambition and desire's shadowy pursuit. Prestige emerges as the dance deepens, an intoxicating promise that sparkles with the allure of esteem and envy. It presents a shimmering facade, an image of untouchable beauty, elevating one's life from the ordinary into the extraordinary. Yet its gilded surface conceals fragility, a mask that flutters to reveal the cost beneath. The pursuit of such prestige becomes a labyrinth where the soul, in search of approval, disguises vulnerability behind ambition, leading it through webs of recognition and identity. As authority unfurls, so too does the illusion of safety, an unspoken promise of invulnerability within its grasp. This allure of safety constructs imaginary walls against the chaos, promising sanctuary from unpredictable tides. But upon closer approach, these walls waver, revealing barriers that isolate instead of protect. The soul's chase for security through authority becomes a paradox, a fortress that morphs into a cage, an ongoing dance where the promise of refuge dissolves into a mirage. Within this delicate weave lies the compromise of intention, where dreams pivot on the fulcrum of ambition. The alluring promises of authority obscure pure intentions, slowly reshaping boundaries. What begins as a vision born of purpose sways under power's soft melody, accommodating the seductive song with gentle acquiescence. This dance, influenced by Machiavelli's insights, reveals a silent negotiation, a subtle realignment that is neither abrupt nor loud, but unfolds in whispers and silent prods. The soul, captivated by authority's allure, navigates this delicate dance, an inner waltz guided by a philosopher's astute observations. Here, intention starts its transformation under the quiet hijacking of purpose. In this journey, awareness often retreats into shadow, overshadowed by power's captivating promise. Authority transforms the narrative, casting discernment into the background. This quiet hijacking clouds the spiritual compass, subtly realigning it by the gravitational pull of control. Awareness becomes an observer, distanced yet witnessing the shifting tides of integrity and ambition, a space where the soul's intricate dance questions authenticity amidst authority's compelling promises. In the heart of this seduction is compromise, a prelude to power's embrace. The soul, entwined in authority's intricate weave, negotiates desire's terms, allowing compromise to walk hand in hand with ambition. This negotiation is understated, a harmonious blend where the soul gradually shapes its destiny amidst power's alluring whispers. The seductive influence of power fosters a subconscious choreography, where intention intertwines seamlessly with control's narrative. This delicate interplay guides the soul through shadowed corridors, where motivation intersects with the discreet charm of authority. Machiavelli's insights resonate here, guiding the soul through newly charted territories of psychological exploration. As our journey meanders through authority's corridors, it unveils a labyrinth of intention shaped by power's seductive promises. Machiavelli's discerning observations illuminate this path, examining the balance between compromise and authenticity. The soul traverses this intricate web, where ambition dances with intention, in an embrace both fragile and enlightening. And so, we conclude our reflection on authority's seduction, navigating compromise and aspiration with humility and insight. From the echoes of Machiavelli's wisdom, the captivating allure of power unfolds, prompting introspection. Through this journey, power, no longer an enigma, transforms into a gateway for self-discovery. With newfound insights, we leave these corridors of control behind, stepping into territories of wisdom and authenticity, ready to explore the vast landscapes of our being anew. In the quiet shadows where power resides, a strange mirror emerges, a surface so elusive it captures not the truth of the world, but a reflection warped by authority. For those who ascend to power, this mirror becomes a tool so profound, it shifts their very perception. Imagine gazing into a pool of water that does not show your true form, but magnifies every flaw and distorts every strength, twisting reality into a mythic legend where vulnerabilities hide beneath an invincible veneer. Power seduces the ruler with this intoxicating reflection, building a facade so grand that it threatens to obscure the fragile truth beneath. Machiavelli, the wise observer of human nature, saw how rulers, entranced by their distorted reflections, began to mistake these illusions for reality. The deception is subtle, almost like a whisper in the dark that convinces the powerful of their infallibility, disconnecting them from the tether of their own limitations. This tangled web of overconfidence and blindness leads decision-making astray, paving paths not with wisdom but with strategic missteps and ethical stumbles. It is a transformation where noble intentions warp into arrogance and caution decays into paranoia, a journey from self-awareness to a realm of existential imbalance. Yet within the dazzling brilliance of power, shadows linger, casting parts of the self into obscurity. These unseen pockets, blind spots in the ruler's awareness, grow unchecked, filled with biases and judgments left to fester. Slowly, overconfidence seeps into action, like an unseen tide, pulling leaders into waters more treacherous than anticipated, where their unchecked beliefs lead them astray. Following the echo chamber of their amplified certainties, they walk paths bound not by counsel or truth, but by the vast echo of unchecked hubris. inviting errors that corrode the very bedrock of their authority. Amidst this silence of counsel, flattery sweetly weaves its spell. The symphony of praise becomes a comforting lullaby, echoing the grandiose images cast by the power's mirror. This melody, tempting and sweet, lures rulers into a world where truth is silenced, replaced by an illusion of unwavering success. Machiavelli noted the seductive nature of flattery, how its shimmering praise aligns seamlessly with the ruler's inner narrative, further distorting the boundary between reality and illusion. As genuine feedback becomes as rare as a whisper in the storm, rulers risk losing their grip on authenticity, swaying under flattery's intoxicating influence. Power's journey unfolds like a labyrinth, with illusions building alluring yet deceptive narratives, stories of control, benevolence, and untouchable dominance. Such fantasies veil the truth, and beneath them lies a more profound challenge: the delusions forged within the depths of the psyche itself. Machiavelli's insights guide us to see the necessity of piercing these veils with an acute awareness, a journey of inward reflection to separate the visions of grandeur from authentic reality. Through this introspection, leaders can unfurl the binds of illusion, seeking clarity beyond the comfort of the power's distorted mirror. But as power casts its dazzling reflections, the ruler's capacity for genuine connection with others wanes. Genuine engagement, an art forged in empathy and understanding, crumbles beneath the burden of inflated self-importance. The mirror of power builds barriers, creating a chasm where disconnection reigns, and relationships morph into transactions framed by authority rather than connection. Machiavelli saw this divide as a fracture, a separation magnified by power's influence, where words and intentions lose their genuine resonance. Overcoming such isolation calls for a bridging of hearts and minds, a path toward a leadership style, embracing vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. Embracing vulnerability becomes a courageous act, tearing down the false idols of invincibility and inviting the light of self-reflection. In this embracing of vulnerability, leaders find strength not in perfection, but in honesty and openness, shedding the distortions fed by power's mirror. Such openness breathes life into the leader, offering a grounding sense of clarity and allowing growth that transcends the shadows lurking beneath authority's facade. Within the mirror's depths lies the shadow, the unresolved aspects of the self that power illuminates. These subconscious drives, the fears that coil within, are magnified under authority's gaze. Engaging with these shadows through the lens of Jungian psychology, rulers find an opportunity for profound transformation. Machiavelli recognized the importance of confronting these unseen forces, turning distortion into insight and growth. As leaders embark on the path of accepting and integrating their true selves, the power's deceptive reflections crumble. This journey, though daunting, aligns action with inner truth, uniting the self into a harmonious whole. Machiavelli reminded us that authenticity arises from this unity, transcending the fractured image cast by power. Through this reconciliation, the wielding of power becomes an act of wisdom and integrity, free from the distortions that once divided. Yet lurking amidst these reflections is the pull of narcissism, one of the most treacherous traps. The mirror of power breeds self-adulation, blinding leaders to reality and drawing them into a cycle of vanity. Machiavelli understood the peril of such entrapment, where pride eclipses empathy and reason. By cultivating humility and embracing truth over ego, Leaders can resist narcissism's seductive pull, navigating authority with clarity and intention. The ultimate promise of power's distorted mirror is the potential for reflective leadership, a journey toward transformational insight. This deeper engagement with authority allows leaders to transcend their limitations, embracing challenges as pathways to wisdom. By cultivating an environment where resilience and accountability flourish, reflective leadership transforms distortion into clarity, fostering a realm where integrity and purpose prevail. In the shadowy corridors of power, where the playing field is ever shifting, necessity often wears the crown. It starts innocently enough, small decisions carried aloft on the breeze of pragmatism. So tiny, they seem to tiptoe past our consciences, veiled as they are in the guise of practicality. Do whatever it takes, whispers the spirit of Machiavelli, embedding itself stealthily into the psyche, altering noble intentions until they morph into subtle justifications for actions once deemed unthinkable. At first, these choices parade themselves as practical solutions to convoluted dilemmas, placing the survival of the state above abstract ideas of right and wrong. This pragmatic dance charms with its apparent wisdom, viewed through the narrow lens of immediate outcomes. But beneath its rhythmic sway lies a dangerous precedent, gradually reshaping the very fabric of ethical code. As practical needs rise as the silent judge, an unseen shift occurs within the soul of those who rule. Choices once starkly divided between acceptable and unacceptable now bleed into each other, creating a patchwork where the line blurs and fades. It's within this creeping dissolution that the greatest threat is housed, as each decision hoarded under the necessity's guise compounds into a slow avalanche, pushing integrity ever further downhill. Over time, this gradual descent into moral ambiguity becomes a landslide, leaving the terrain of one's inner virtue altered beyond recognition, a canvas reconfigured by the echo of long-forgotten ideals. In Machiavelli's realm, the ends shine like distant stars, while the means become pliable shadows, tools in service to ambition. This ideology beckons with its promise of clarity amidst the murky haze of political gamesmanship. It crafts a seduction, urging detachment, where success is weighed not through ethical scrutiny, but through the scales of effectiveness. Such calculated detachment constructs inner narratives that allow actions to sever their ethical moorings, transmuting conscience from moral guide to pragmatic participant. Yet, as means lose their limelight to overarching ends, compassion and empathy become collateral, sacrificed upon ambition's altar. The human element, once integral, now mutely fades to the background, claiming that these sacrifices are the bitter pills for the greater good. Eventually, this lens clouds vision with a moral myopia, impoverishing personal integrity and corroding the societal threads, each choice a note in the discordant symphony of lost humanity. In this paradigm play, empathy finds itself slowly pushed aside, not with fanfare, but with a gentle yet persistent banishing. It's framed not as strength, but as a mere impediment to the efficient gears of decision-making, compromising the stark calculus of authority. As necessity's narrative tightens its hold, empathy becomes expendable, its voice hushed behind the cold drive of ambition. Numbness soon creeps into the emotional corridors of power. A comforting distance from the pulse of humanity becomes the norm, where individuals are mere data and decisions calculated prose. Thus unfolds the leader's true tragedy, not just in muted emotions, but in the loss of a link connecting them to the core of human experience. leaving them adrift in the vast, isolating expanse of power. Rationalization then takes its place on the stage, a tool of significant might, adept at morphing ethical quandaries into palatable decisions. In Machiavellian terms, rationalization becomes the lens through which one navigates governance's harsh landscapes, sidestepping moral pitfalls. As ethical dilemmas recede to logistical feats, introspection shrinks to mere justification. And so, it is that conscience dims to an echo as the mind learns to navigate through convenience, dismissing integrity as an extravagant ideal. The transformation from conscience to convenience is not abrupt. It's a slow redefinition of priorities, where integrity's once bright call dulls under the pressure of dominance. Illuminated by what's practical or easy, each decision recalibrates values, feeding a chain reaction that tips the scales from integrity to mercantile logic. This shift weaves its influence over psyche, breeding an existence where moral truths echo quietly from a time when ideals mattered more than outcome alone. Yet within these halls of power, a fracture stealthily emerges, an erosion widening invisibly under the surface. Small forsakings evolve into grand rationalizations, igniting a cognitive dissonance that gnaws at one's personal integrity. Here lies an existential crossroads, forcing a re-evaluation where being confronts becoming, past ideals measuring against present actions. Amid this fracture thrives alienation, fragmenting the self away from the mirror and into the fragmented shadows of moral identity. For those bound within Machiavellian realism, guilt remains a stealthy partner, complex, intertwined with power's intricate demands. It dances silently, an unacknowledged dialogue questioning the trade-offs demanded by ascendancy's ruthless pursuit. Guilt lingers, a subtle reminder of the costs etched into the journey, a spectre in the shadows, never openly embraced, lest it shatter the intricate structure of rationalizations built on necessity's shifting sands. As power's practitioners sail through authority's tempest, they find legacy, an accumulation of moral moments shaped across tenure's breadth. Machiavellian pragmatism carves an ambiguous legacy, where intent and compromise blend. This blending, a slow erosion of foundational principle, leaves its mark not only on memory but on those who follow, embedding moral expedience into the institution's essence, perpetuating cycles of compromise disguised as tradition, a ripple shaping society's moulding for ages untold. In the delicate balance of reflection, those echoes of compromise linger, tender reminders of roads wandered, integrity exchanged piece by piece. Here rests potential, an invitation to pause, to trace back steps taken through power's labyrinthine corridors. In the heart of this reflection, there lies a chance to grapple with ambition, integrity and power, feeling truth in the silence. Courage, the key to inward journeys, unlocking self-doubt, vulnerabilities, restoring fragments of the humane spirit. Thus emerges reconciliation, a path not negating bygone choices, but weaving understanding from their complexity. This is not escape, but an introspective journey back to where values lay once aligned and whole. From this core, authenticity grows, fostering a renewed ethical compass where power intertwines gently with compassion, and ambition dances gracefully with empathy. Necessity meets integrity, a delicate dance, balancing power's masked allure with the soulful embrace of human connection. In the quiet, shadowed corners of human nature, fear whispers its presence, weaving itself into the decades of our evolutionary fabric like an ancient sentinel. Born as a primal guardian, fear has historically guided our footsteps, alerting us to dangers seen and unseen. But within the elusive dance of power, it morphs, transcending its origins to become a formidable yet unseen currency. Leaders, echoing throughout the sprawling corridors of history, have harnessed this intangible power. They craft intricate tales where fear transforms into the invisible threads, subtly binding authorities' skeins together, as easily as it unravels the intentions of the governed. This currency of fear thrives on its elegant simplicity, becoming a tool that cuts through complexity with an unnerving clarity. It doesn't require the tangled webs of deceit or labyrinthine plots, only an acute understanding of the human desire for safety amidst chaos. Those in power wield this knowledge like artisans, with every gesture and word embedding fear into the tapestry of governance, ensuring compliance drifts seamlessly into submission. Here relationships warp under fear's weight, contorted into hierarchical puppetry, where influence is wielded through a spectrum of intimidation, overtly thunderous or insidiously whispered. In these realms, fear seeps, a quiet poison, into the foundations of connection, eroding the bedrock of trust and respect. Leaders who construct their thrones upon such grounds find themselves surrounded by either subservience or silent resistance. Dialogue in these shadows loses its organic dance. Instead, there emerges a choreography of carefully curated exchanges, where words are weighed, examined and delivered not with authenticity, but in the hope of favour or fear of reprisal. Transactional in nature, these relationships mirror not the complexity of human interaction, but a series of performances, fear dictating the script. The ironic legacy of such fear-based governance is the self-perpetuating cycle it ignites, a cycle reflecting fear's own propagation within the very hearts it seeks to control. The ruler's manipulation of fear descends the hierarchical ladder, entrenching a culture where fear-induced compliance becomes second nature. Thus, society's very fabric becomes embroidered with threads of anxiety and strategic submission, veiling genuine empathy beneath layers of cautious civility. Fear becomes a haunting echo, distorting perceptions as communities become theatres where coercion and submission orchestrate each act. Yet amidst this carefully curated mirage lies a realm where compassion occasionally peeks through, offering glimpses of what lurks beneath fear's shroud. In a world ruled by fear, genuine compassion finds itself recast, as either a rare, precious currency due to its scarcity or as a calculated mechanism wielded for dominance. Compassion may briefly illuminate the path, a flicker of warmth in an otherwise cold transaction, yet it can cunningly harness itself into the service of control, a tool extended to sustain allegiance and obedience. Authenticity becomes currency, weighed in deliberate exchanges, redefining empathy not as a natural flow, but as a calculated bargain. In these rare moments, where genuine compassion slices through fear's fog, the world shifts. Authentic connections whisper their potential to redefine alliances, showcasing the strength and resilience attainable through sincere interaction. But beneath the looming shadow of fear, such instances remain fragile, easily misinterpreted as weaknesses against the battlefield where fear proudly reigns. Yet they serve as gentle reminders of a lost wholeness, suggesting that compassion holds the power to disrupt this cycle, knitting together new tapestries woven from empathy and understanding. Consider the spectral marketplace of fear, where dread becomes both the valuable product and the common coin exchanged. Silence prevails as suspicion becomes the currency, and vulnerability incurs a debt too daunting for many to reconcile. Here, leaders cultivate atmospheres of tension, a slow wind of dread that underscores every interaction. In this constructed reality, emotional security finds itself unwittingly undermined by those promising protection, as perceptions are manipulated and attentions diverted from the truth lurking beneath power's veneer. Beneath rulers' strong facades lies a web of unseen transactions, where every act and utterance is a calculated move in a delicate chess game, governed by fear. Unseen negotiations and shadowed dialogues underscore reality, where fear becomes the engine driving influence and control. Public statements mask underlying tensions, as rulers delicately juggle the delicate balance of their constructs against the winds of change and discontent. The psychological toll extracted by a world spinning on fear's axis is deep and problematic. For those who rule, the relentless vigilance needed to maintain dominance crafts a restless mind, fraught with paranoia and doubt, nurturing insecurities behind confident exteriors. Simultaneously, for the ruled, the omnipresent shadow of fear crafts a world of anxiety, a quiet assault manifesting a stress, fatigue, and an endemic frustration at the interminable cycle of power play. As fear's chilling currency moves through the world, empathy retreats, its whispers hushed in fear's cacophony, widening the void where humanity should thrive. Cultures bend to frameworks that prioritise utilitarian interactions above all else, shifting further away from the warmth of genuine connection. Individuals in self-preservation grow emotional armour, protecting themselves while imprisoning their own capacity for empathy within. Yet amidst these shadows lies the potential for transformation, an invitation to awaken beyond fear's smothering grasp and rediscover the humanity that connects rather than divides. The ascent into power often veils a path strewn with solitude, where authority, once seemingly a shield, erodes the fabric of genuine connection. Within the fortress of the throne, where every decision echoes with the weight of expectation, relationships are refracted through a prism of utility. Friends morph into advisors, their warmth questioned, their loyalty analysed. As the vaulted halls resonate with echoes of solitude, the silent whispers of power slowly erode the bonds once held dear. This loneliness is nourished not only by external pressures, but blossoms from within, as leaders drift into believing that isolation is a testament to strength. This perceived independence, however, severs the nourishing roots of true freedom. Instead, it becomes a fortress of solitude, a self-imprisonment where counsel turns into an echo chamber, and vulnerability becomes a fount of paranoia. In this realm of shifting allegiances, friends become distant spectres. Relationships, once vibrant with shared dreams, fall under the shadow of suspicion. The candid laughter and heartfelt exchanges that defined camaraderie are now veiled by the shroud of potential betrayal. Friendship, inherently built on equality and vulnerability, becomes a strained performance, where every word and glance are weapons in disguise, and allegiance is weighed against perceived utility. The burden of power transforms critics from voices of reason into perceived traitors. What once was a harmonious chorus of perspectives, guiding with humility, is now drowned by the serpentine embrace of paranoia. Valid criticism is perceived as insurgency, as authority fears dissent's hidden daggers. Each critique, once an invitation to growth, reverberates as a threat in the ruler's mind. In this distortion, genuine dialogue fades, and the garden of wisdom becomes choked by the weeds of defensive delusion. Power's grasp taints love, transforming it from an open embrace into a negotiation mired in caution. Intimacy, the lifeblood of true connection, withers when surrendered as a transactional affair. Romantic gestures, once genuine, now feel forced, constrained by expectations distorted over time. Love becomes a currency, assessed by its compliance to the ruler's demands, ensnared in the nets of expectation and control. With time, trust, once the adhesive of relationships, unravels. The simplest gestures, a smile, an extended hand, are steeped in doubt. Trust, mistaken for naivety, becomes an ancient relic best abandoned. Each interaction is shadowed by suspicion, as leaders equipped with power equate trust with vulnerability, a weakness they must guard against. Within their self-constructed fortress, the leader stands as vulnerable as their defences, ensnared by doubts that isolate them in an unyielding solitude. Echoes of fear permeate the royal chamber, birthing phantoms of imagined betrayal. In the absence of genuine connection, fear grows insidiously, whispering prophecies of ruin. These echoes weave tales of deceit, hidden behind benign expressions and soothing words. Fear becomes both adversary and advisor, distorting reality into a hall of mirrors where shadows conspiratorially shift with every move. This isolation foments paranoia, a looped narrative where loyalty blurs into deception and cautious steps breed the prophecies they seek to avoid. Despite power's allure, authority's mantle weighs heavily, burdening the ruler with an omnipresent obligation. The mantle of leadership creates an artificial persona, crafted for public scrutiny. But this weight confines spontaneity and erodes the vulnerability vital for authentic connection. As cynicism seeps in, sincerity diminishes, and the isolation of the throne becomes palpable. Behind the curtain of power lies an enigmatic dance with deception. The ruler treads a ballroom littered with half-truths, engaging in a cruel ballet where integrity is obscured by guise. Each rehearsed move sidesteps vulnerability, binding authority to a deceptive partner. This dance offers no true refuge, merely delaying the inevitable surrender to authenticity's horizon. In this journey, the throne's isolation paradoxically offers a chance for transcendence. As solitude and sovereignty merge, the introspection blossoms into self-examination, framing silence as serene contemplation. The leader seeking connections beyond utility begins to embrace vulnerability, rediscovering humility. This realization births reconciliation, unveiling a path where authenticity and impermanence elevate the soul's essence. Herein, isolation's flaws are no longer chains that bind worth. The expanse of liberation belongs to those who commit to authenticity, embracing the journey of wisdom as it weaves seamlessly into life's tapestry. By realigning, the leader perceives that true emancipation lies in the embrace of vulnerability, a congruence that resonates timelessly, stitched together by the threads of life's interconnected dance. In the quiet shadows where the heart's intentions are cradled, an unseen transformation begins as power seeps in. Initially, it presents itself as promise, whispering allurements of control and prestige that silently drown out humility and compassion. A clear vision slowly distorts, submerged beneath the intoxicating echo of dominance. This transformation, born in the depths of consciousness, often goes unnoticed, a gentle tightening in the chest, an unease lingering at the edges of awareness. Empathy yields to self-preservation, a simmering conflict concealed beneath a confident facade. Power murmurs its dangerous mantra that vulnerability equates to weakness, eroding the bridge to authentic connection with others. It is in this silent turmoil that the heart begins its inward struggle, torn between integrity and ambition. Avarice emerges, a slowly tightening grip of longing for more control, more admiration, more of the promises that power subtly extends. This craving fuels decisions, transforming the emotional landscape into one of transactions. The heart, once a fertile ground for compassion, now becomes a barren space dominated by relentless self-interest. It propels individuals into a restless quest for external validation, tethering self-worth to possessions and accolades, leaving introspection a distant memory. Thus, the heart's journey shifts from connection to a fortress of solitary ambition, echoing with emptiness in its pursuit of more. As control tightens its grip, paranoia silently weaves tendrils into consciousness, distorting reality and nurturing mistrust. The perception of threats heightens, compelling preemptive actions that further isolate. The open heart guards itself, scanning horizons for betrayal and deceit. This defense mechanism grows, an acknowledgement of power's precarious nature, an invitation to admiration or envy. Relationships strain as interactions are overshadowed by suspicion, cultivating a defensive posture that battles invisible threats, echoing Machiavelli's observations on the fragile art of rule. A delicate dehumanization unfolds, empathy hardening into callous indifference. In the heart's sanctuary, emotions dull, and the dance of compassion falters. Encounters devoid of depth suffocate a leader's natural instinct for understanding, stripping interactions of sincerity. Emotional agility succumbs to rigidity, enveloping the heart in a protective shell. This armour, constructed to shield against vulnerability, thickens, insulating against the healing balm of genuine connection, leaving the heart adrift in self-imposed isolation, a reflection of a life devoid of warm human connection. Both poignant and perilous, within this swirl of authority lies an inescapable restlessness, a quiet hum of anxiety beneath conscious thought. It is the mind's disquiet, burdened by countless possibilities of control, each promising safety but adding weight. This restlessness fuels a cycle of action and reaction where peace seems unreachable. Inside, tension manifests physically, a tight jaw, disturbed slumber. Yearning for stillness, the heart is overwhelmed by leadership's incessant demands. The quest for power becomes an unending treadmill. Success is overshadowed by new battles, maintaining an illusion of contentment as the heart chases mirages of fulfillment. Yet within this turmoil, Jungian psychology offers a path to wholeness through shadow integration. By confronting hidden aspects of the self, individuals begin to reconcile power's tension with the moral compass within. The segmented heart longs for reintegration, where ego and shadow collaborate instead of collide. This journey requires courage, confronting uncomfortable truths by crafting a more honest self-narrative. Acknowledging the shadow looses avarice and paranoia's chains, softening the heart and allowing empathy to return. Integration is not merely resolving conflict, but a profound reawakening to authenticity and self-compassion. Self-reflection becomes the key, an intimate journey inward, encouraging dialogue with the true self. In quiet moments of reflection, the heart's whisper guides, leading back to core values and inner truth. This process grants clarity, realigning the individual with authenticity and liberating the heart to breathe freely once more. It anchors the self, encouraging a heart-centered existence that transcends the trappings of authority. Through reflection, the heart navigates complexities with wisdom and grace. Detachment, as wisdom gifts, offers wholeness amid chaos. It understands power's impermanence and external validation's transient nature. This quiet strength teaches true power arises from letting go without losing essence. As practiced, detachment imbues resilience, returning simplicity to hearts, allowing engagement without chains. Relationships and interactions morph into genuine moments, free from expectations, allowing the heart to delight in mere being, accepting life as it is, uncluttered by endless desire for more. Ritualized inner work becomes sacred, forging pathways to joy and harmony within. Through journaling, meditation, and inquiry, the heart engages in transformation, reversing corruption's course. These acts, undertaken with intention, guide the heart to clarity, a space where authentic expression arises naturally. Regular practice fosters dialogue, nurturing emotional intelligence and resilience within a heart now centered. It regains its role as a guiding force, transcending authority's complexities with wisdom and grace. As burdens lift, the heart renews, emerging with clarity and strength. This rebirth is no end but a journey's continuation. Anchored in integrity and self-awareness, the heart navigates life's depths, guiding relationships with impartiality and peace. Completing a cycle, it embodies power not in dominance, but in the bonds it cherishes. The heart's legacy, realized not through control, but in wholeness and integrity, flourishes from its depths, embracing a life balance between shadow and light. In the gentle dance of power's allure, there lies a whisper, a promise of immortality, a fleeting reprieve from the inexorable sands of time. This seductive vision suggests that through influence and conquest, the shroud of mortality can be lifted, if only for a moment. Power hums a lullaby of eternal legacy, urging the soul to grasp at shadows, believing actions might echo through the corridors of history. Yet, this myth of permanence remains as elusive as dusk's fading light. The ruler, entangled in this promise, finds solace in the imagined echoes of their name, not realizing that what persists is merely an echo detached from true form, a fading afterimage in the wake of time's relentless march. Power flirts with immortality, a belief forged in the crucible of influence. But the names enshrined in history's annals are often remembered for the reach of their dominion, not the depth of their deeds. This yearning to be eternally spoken of stems from a deeper existential fear, a terror of oblivion, of fading into irrelevance. As rulers become ensnared in the web of their own making, they overlook the ephemeral nature of public memory. Instead of achieving the immortality they seek, power accelerates the erosion of the self, leaving behind only the echo of authority, while the essence of humanity slips silently into obscurity. Beneath power's guise of indestructibility lies a fragile foundation, a delicate balance too often mistaken for invulnerability. Those who hold authority overlook the precarious equilibrium upon which their reign rests, mistaking stability for strength. Believing in power's self-sustaining nature leads to rash decisions, neglecting the nuances of trust and societal fabric. Each grasp for dominance, whether through coercion or benevolence, strains the very fibres that lend it cohesion. These neglected underpinnings hold the potential for cataclysm, reminiscent of grand structures brought low by unseen tremors. The delicate web of power depends wholly on perception and belief, fragile elements that can shift with alarming swiftness. Caught in this web, rulers misinterpret confidence for permanence, blinded by temporary successes that lead to overreach. Authority becomes a grand tapestry of illusions, appearing intricate and strong, but vulnerable to the slightest disturbance. This intricate web, spun from the compliance of others, reveals its true fragility as loyalties waver and new forces emerge. In mistaking their temporary command for unbreakable strength, the seeds of downfall are sown within the very fabric of their reign. Hubris, born of power, is a master architect of decline. This pride, with roots entangled in authority, crafts blinders to vulnerability. It convinces the powerful of their eternal infallibility, seducing them into believing they are untouched by consequence or time. Pride obscures self-awareness, dismissing wisdom, till hubris constructs a facade of invincibility, ignoring history's lessons and the reality of human limitations. The ruler, ensnared by this grandeur, loses sight of their own humanity, conflating authority with unblemished perfection. In the thrall of pride, power's permanence becomes a dangerous illusion. Rulers, intoxicated with their narratives, dismiss caution, blind to the shadows of downfall near at hand. Like architects building without regard for foundation, hubris leads to the rise of unsustainable empires. Majestic exteriors hide structures weakening with each haughty decision, culminating in decline as power's edifice collapses under the weight of neglected wisdom. History stands as a gentle, cautionary tale against power's illusion. Each epoch echoes with stories of rulers who overreached, their legacies fading into the annals of time. Yet, under the glare of influence, these lessons fade from memory, each ruler believing themselves to be the exception. Power's dismissal of historical wisdom serves only to perpetuate a cycle of ambition and folly. Ignoring the tales of fallen empires is hubris encapsulated. The powerful, dismissing these narratives, turn a blind eye to history's cyclical wisdom, ensnared by a belief in their own uniqueness. The ancient echoes of empires crumble under the weight of unheeded history, their lessons manifesting in repeated decay. In this endless ambition lies a disconnect from reality, a refusal to tether decisions to history's lessons. The result is an inevitable decline, masked by initial triumphs. Each ascent carries seeds of descent, sown by unchecked ambition and blindness to fleeting success. Decline reveals the stark reality that power's permanence is a mirage, an illusion born of human yearning. Yet, in decline lies profound reflection and choice, embracing grounded wisdom, turning from power's seductive charms. With decline begins transformation, a shedding of identities bound by dominance, a reconnection with deeper truths. As power's reign fades, profound renewal stirs, where individuals find authenticity and meaning beyond mere influence. Embracing impermanence heralds a journey of resilience and adaptability, nurturing authenticity and self-understanding. As the dance of power concludes, freed from illusions, individuals glimpse a permanence unbound from life's transience. Here, within this acceptance of impermanence's gentle embrace, transformation occurs, guiding toward wholeness and fulfillment beyond transient dominance. The reign may conclude, but the echo of command lingers, weaving itself into the fabric of those who once wielded power. This shadow is not merely a reflection of past actions. but a web of roads not taken, choices both strategic and feared, now haunting the corridors of memory like distant whispers. Decisions once viewed as essential transform into phantoms, reminding them of proclamations made in solitude, the heavy crown's weight, the intoxicating view from the summit, blind to the dark clouds gathering within their conscience. Redemption, an intrinsic human yearning, emerges as a response to the haunting spectre of past dominions. As emotions shift and evolve, these individuals confront the wounds they inflicted, the ethical lines blurred beneath the guise of leadership. Machiavelli's insights echo within them. Power rarely leaves one unscarred, morally and emotionally. This self-inquiry becomes a spiritual odyssey, guiding them to uncover how authority has distorted their perceptions. This journey surpasses external imprints, delving into the internal moral struggle that breeds a tapestry of regret, accountability, and a longing for absolution. As the individuals reflect inward, the ripples of their past authority extend outward, scarring the public psyche. Rulers may fade from visible power, yet their decisions resonate, carving deep into the communal consciousness, shaping narratives that caution future generations. These memories become woven into cultural lore, encapsulating tales of marginalisation, struggle, and triumphs that serve as both lament and guide. Societal structures moulded by past dominion echo with their predecessors' deeds, warning of the permanently altered social contracts crafted by these histories. Such legacies warp societal norms, cycling mistrust and skepticism towards authority. Chronic doubt becomes a cultural wound, thwarting healing and progress. The imprint of power creates a paradoxical longing for stability, yet breeds cynicism, influencing relationships with emerging leaders. In this dual legacy, societies become both witness and reflector to the potential for order, alongside overreach. By understanding this duality, communities strive to break cycles of fear and manipulation, aspiring for equitable leadership born from collective consciousness and reflection. The shadow extends to institutions where traces of past leadership linger, immune to the passing of power. Structures shaped by previous dominion bear the relics, policies solidified to entrench authority, decisions forged under urgency and rigidity. These institutional shadows burden growth, hindering innovation. The status quo persists, built within dominion's interests, becoming a cycle of caution and restraint. To dismantle these barriers, contemporary actors embrace introspection and critique, gradually replacing antiquity with transparency, inclusivity, collaboration, and integrity. Reconciliation with these legacies presents a profound ethical challenge for those once in power. Under the shadow of former choices, they confront existential dilemmas, atonement or denial. This tension forces a re-evaluation of past actions, revealing cognitive dissonance between once justified necessities and present moral insight. To amend or understand, they reshape their narratives, seeking redemption through memoirs, public apologies, or philanthropy, aimed at healing historical wounds. This transformation is neither straightforward nor certain, but marks an evolution from dominance to mentorship and benefaction, testing their courage to admit faults and desire for redemption. The poignant shift from command to kinship emerges, as those released from authority yearn for authentic connection. Former alliances, born from necessity, dissolve, reshaping relationships that now seek voluntary affinity. This pursuit of kinship is both a social and spiritual quest for genuine belonging, unencumbered by the artifice of previous powers' chicanery. It serves as a reminder of humanity's primary bonds, overshadowed yet never erased by the allure of authority. Striving for inner tranquility becomes a cornerstone, as these individuals find peace by reconciling their shadowed past with a future of serenity. Freed from the turbulence of control, they retreat to contemplative shores, facing their reflections honestly and seeking solace in simple presence. Meditation and divine silence become allies, guiding the heart and mind towards harmony. By letting go and fostering forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, they cultivate self-compassion, extending its glow outward, enriching relationships and embracing shared humanity. Emerging from the shadows, these individuals reimagine their identities, integrating wisdom gained from power with a profound commitment to authenticity. This reinvention frees them to explore life anew, unencumbered by burdens that once defined their existence. Their narrative evolves from legacy to possibility, reinvigorating themselves and enriching the communal fabric, sharing the message that authenticity outlasts dominion's shadow. With newfound wisdom, former rulers hold the potential to guide future generations with integrity. Transitioning from control to mentorship, they shift power's narrative to enlightenment. Leadership becomes a shared circle, a dialogue between eras, illuminating a legacy built on introspection, vision, and growth. By imparting strategies of humility, collaboration, and empathy, these leaders inspire successors to rise beyond shadows, transforming power's legacy from burden to beacon. This journey transforms control's shadow into a source of light and courage, cultivating wisdom from past challenges. Embracing shadow work, they explore their darker aspects, discovering potential within flaws. This authentic transformation fosters self-awareness and psychological integration, harmonizing disjointed elements into coherent wholes. Insights gained illuminate pathways toward deeper connection, showcasing growth as a vital component of leadership, creating ripples of healing and empowerment across time. Reconciliation with power's legacy, both personal and collective, celebrates unity between past and present. Former rulers, now on this new trajectory, merge past conflict with future aspirations, embracing purpose beyond mere authority. Power wielded without integrity shuns connection. Power embraced with self-awareness unlocks transformative potential for self and for the world. As they reconcile with their legacies, they offer a universal invitation, one that welcomes others into the exploration of authenticity and connection, celebrating awareness as a bridge to wholeness and integration. Thus, this reconciliation becomes not merely an individual act, but a communal unfolding, a testament to human potential, transcending shadows to step into the luminous journey of life, fully seen and fully embraced. In the quiet cradle of night, let us wander through the story of power, where each aspiration begins like the seed of a dream, cradling potential within its fragile shell. These dreams, bound by hopes of order amid chaos, whisper promises of worlds reshaped, tempting and pure in their infancy. Yet beneath the surface lies a tender inquiry. Do these seeds take root in the fertile soil of noble ideals, or do they draw sustenance from shadows, longing, fear, and the thirst for validation? As the world sleeps and time drifts gently by, reflect with me on how these ambitions carry echoes of unrequited desires, growing quietly into a relentless quest for power's seductive embrace. This journey introduces a dialogue within, an invitation to pause beneath the vast starlit sky, to question narratives long accepted. Whether nestled within the corridors of influence or woven into private ambitions, the stories we share about success carve pathways through our minds. Here lies the delicate opposition between genuine authenticity and the enticing pull of false personas. To glimpse our reflections through the gentle lens of self-awareness is to unveil the silent forces that drive our quest. In this tender witnessing, we find a shield in our awareness, our ally against the seductive murmur of compromise. Yet, as the dance of life unfolds, compromise emerges in gentle whispers, neither virtuous nor villainous but essential in its existence. Initially, these compromises appear as benign gestures, small tokens in the spirit of harmony. However, let us wander further, to the edges where these innocent adjustments gently erode the very principles they once sought to protect. In positions of authority, each compromise becomes a delicate ripple, casting its influence far beyond the immediate moment. Through the undulating rhythm of awareness, we perceive how incremental shifts brush against the boundaries of integrity, inviting us to find stillness amidst the silent roar of choices made. As power spreads its tendrils, enveloping the world in its subtle grasp, so too grows the illusion of invulnerability. In the majestic shadows of grandeur, blind spots lie in wait, pockets of darkness overlooked by oversight or nurtured by overconfidence. Where the air is thick with the whispers of agreement and echoes of validation resonate, nuances fade into obscurity. In the hushed reverence of our contemplation, uncovering these secrets invites vulnerability and courage, dispersing the shroud of ignorance. A tapestry of awareness weaves through the mind's defences, unveiling biases hidden beneath the surface. In this gentle revelation, we discern where our inner shadows cast themselves upon the outer world. From the silent depths, ethical foundations once resolute and steadfast begin to sway gently, like stone to sand under the weight of unchecked power. Clarity blurs as expediency carves its subtle paths, and righteousness bends toward convenience's tender embrace. This slow erosion, not wrought in haste but with subtlety, challenges us to ponder the fragile foundations upon which lives are built. Observing parallels in our own lives becomes an object of reflection, discovering where ethical integrity may slip quietly away in the pursuit of acceptance or ease. In the stillness of witnessing, we anchor ourselves to truths immutable by the tide of expedience. Emotions, with their tender ripples, dance within the canvas of authority, weaving intricate webs that bind empathy to alienation and insecurity to hostility. To witness is to dive deep into this dusky sea, recognizing how dormant fears and desires unveil themselves through decisions and actions. The rhythm of reflection invites a journey inward to explore how power charts the course of our emotional tides. In this tender introspection, we unravel emotional knots, breathing resilience into spaces where fear once held dominion. Moving within this story, paranoia blooms like a silent vine, wrapping itself around the heart with its haunting whispers. Suspicion becomes the unsettling companion of unchecked authority, dissolving trust into shadows of doubt. Relationships, once warm sanctuaries, transform into fortresses, burdened by the weight of perceived threats. Through the softened gaze of reflection, we peer into our lives, questioning if the echoes of paranoia have woven themselves silently into our stories. With gentle acceptance, layers of fear begin to peel away, restoring trust in ourselves and, more deeply, in others. The arc of power, in its cyclical majesty, weaves a timeless pattern of ascent and decline, echoed across history. It dances behind crowns and within halls of influence, a familiar melody that invites us to witness in silent awareness. Through reflection, we discern patterns that serve our higher purpose and those that tether us to cycles past. With this understanding, awareness blooms, offering the wisdom to choose paths that honour authenticity and inner truth. In the soft glow of awareness, we uncover liberation, a serene salve against deception's touch. This tender witnessing longs for introspection, unravelling the chains of subconscious fear. As the tapestry of life unfolds before us, awareness breathes life into untapped potential, inviting us to craft new narratives woven with dignity and grace. From the echoes of corrupted authority arises the gentle reclamation of personal sovereignty, a quiet sanctuary crafted in self-mastery and inner peace. Here power shifts from external allure to the warmth of inner strength, harmonised with the flow of life. In this renewed journey, authority dances gracefully, anchored by authenticity and unwavering commitment to self-awareness. The quiet symphony of inner witnessing unfurls as our narrative reaches its gentle conclusion. This melody of consciousness reverberates softly through each choice, guiding us toward truths that transcend the temporal realm of power. Within this hallowed practice of witnessing, we nurture moments as they unfold, planting seeds anew in the soil of integrity and soulful authenticity, where life becomes the sacred tapestry of a heart fully witnessed in its sublime journey. In the gentle twilight, where shadows begin to meld with the night, we contemplate the delicate balance between power and responsibility, a balance as precarious as a tightrope walk between two ancient cliffs. Here, in this realm of influence, dominion whispers temptations of control and ownership, often leading leaders down paths of manipulation and coercion to maintain their hold. Yet, the strength of responsibility calls us to a higher ground, urging a commitment to the well-being of all, asking us to nurture growth and cultivate respect in those under our care. The secret lies in an internal dialogue, where the heart confronts its ambitions and the soul weighs the ethics of desire. Power, when wielded as a force of self-interest, becomes a shadowy corridor. But when soaked in responsibility, it reveals itself as a beacon for positive transformation. Thus begins a pilgrimage, lit not by the ego's glare but by the soft candlelight of self-awareness. It is this mindfulness that becomes the lens through which intentions are examined and recalibrated, ensuring personal gain never eclipses ethical stewardship. Through the lens of self-knowledge, power sheds its malevolent tendencies, morphing into a sacred trust. Leaders illuminated by self-awareness understand the fears and drives that often steer behaviour, creating a mitigated tapestry of values, strengths and vulnerabilities. In their authentic reflection, they forego the need for prestige, channeling energies instead towards trust, empathy and cooperation. Here, the soul finds its grounding, transforming potential pitfalls into profound opportunities for growth. This dance of introspection, when unfurled, becomes not just a guiding principle, but the armour of integrity. As society continues its fixation on tangible achievements, we stand at the precipice of redefining success. Success, often shackled to wealth and prestige, can, if integrity is compromised, lead only to echoes of satisfaction in its pursuit. True fulfillment is nestled in the depths of ethical stances and authenticity, in every shared moment, a revolution in values that ultimately prizes wholeness and genuine connections. Herein lies the profound satisfaction, the resonance of actions aligned with core values, transcending the transient pleasures of worldly gains and ushering forth a landscape where relationships, creativity, and inner peace flourish. For power to harmonize with wholeness, it must embrace the symphony of heart, mind, and soul, a harmonious triad transcending ego's limited pursuits. When the heart leads with compassion, the mind sharpens with clarity, and the soul resonates with purpose, we witness the art of leadership. This integration crafts a sturdy foundation of integrity, guiding actions with ethical clarity, enabling leaders to navigate complexities with grace, authenticity, and an unyielding commitment to holistic growth. In this world, where strength often masquerades as invulnerability, vulnerability emerges as a radical act of integrity. Authentic leaders share their imperfections, laying bare fears and uncertainties, dismantling the ego's construct to connect with shared humanity. Vulnerability creates fertile ground for collaboration and mutual respect, nurturing spaces where individuals find not just leadership, but inspiration and empowerment, a testament to growth and self-awareness. To choose integrity is to engage in the art of letting go, where resilience burgeons through non-attachment. In surrendering control, the mind swims with the river of life's rhythms, flowing with uncertainty. This non-attachment allows anxiety and rigidity to dissolve, replaced by adaptability and profound clarity. Letting go fosters a profound understanding of impermanence, anchoring leaders in purpose rather than ego-driven pursuits, merging contemplation with action amidst life's unpredictable currents. At the heart of this journey is ethical stewardship, where legacy transcends material accomplishments to etch its impact upon hearts and spirits. Here, leaders uncover a deeper responsibility, evaluating the tremors of their influence long after power has waned, sowing seeds of integrity that flower into inspiration and transformation for generations untold. Guiding these reflections are the rituals of inner work, ghosting on the breath of stillness and self-inquiry. Journaling unveils thoughts, emotions, and insights like unfolding petals, revealing the vibrant inner landscape. In silence, presence expands, transcending noise, with self-inquiry casting light on challenging questions, revealing authenticity from its cloaked retreat. Love and compassion emerge as the unyielding forces anchoring leadership, where power becomes a vessel for nurturing growth, and connection thrives in collective flourishing. Compassion guides hearts to empathize without judgment, paving paths toward acceptance and healing. When leaders root themselves in these virtues, they forge environments of trust, collaboration, and creativity. Our journey of choosing integrity over dominion concludes with an awakening to wholeness, a commitment to perpetual growth and renewed perspectives. Recognizing integrity as an ongoing journey of conscious choice, leaders embrace evolution, trading egoic pursuits for purpose-driven alignment. They become infused with curiosity, mindful that each decision shapes the collective narrative of influence. This awakening transforms leadership into a celebration of interconnectedness, compassion, and ethical stewardship, inviting others to listen, reflect, and perhaps subscribe to a continuous journey of self-discovery.